behind the schedule as usual. I'll show you what I've done already. So this bottom is not yet ready, but it looks pretty nice. I've been applying several coats of shellac, but you see that pores are still absorbing the shellac, and you see that the surface is not yet flat, it's not yet even. So we need to put more shellac, we need to do the wet sanding between the layers, but you already see that it's getting smoother and smoother. So now let me show you what we are doing here. So this frame is not original, I've made it, because the original frame was fully damaged. When you screw this into the hole, you shouldn't get any split in here. So your holes have to be drilled, they have to be wide holes, otherwise so it will just crack, because this wood is original, it's old, it's 100 years old. Gently drill this hole here. Not only the screws holding the whole thing together, we will glue it on, we'll apply the glue. It has to be very resilient construction here. Yeah. So the screws were lost, and I'm using my own screws. So this was purchased on a garage sale. This is a very old screw. Now the ruler, we take the ruler, 2.5 centimeters here, 2.5 centimeters here, sharply 2.5 centimeters here, and 2.5 centimeters here. Absolutely great. Here is it's a little bit 2.5 and 2.5 and 2.5. So this is ideal, and everything has to be done one time. There is no any other chance. If you drill the hole, then you drill the hole. You cannot undrill it, and you cannot remove it, or you cannot move it to another place. So you need, this project is not so hard, but you're making some decisions in between, how you manage, and sometimes you need to solve some problems. What are you gonna do if if the part is damaged? Do you want to replace it completely, or do you want to try to fix it? And when you try to fix it, how it's gonna look like? It will look like it's been repaired, or you want to do it like it has been perfect and it's in mint condition. So I prefer, if I restore phonographs, I prefer that it should be better than original. I don't mean that it should look like a Chinese reproduction, Chinese or Indian reproduction. Not at all. If some parts need to be replaced, they have to look old. Okay. The last screw goes here. Yeah. The inside, the internal part of this phonograph can be covered with the paint, the dark paint. Sometimes they were applying paint, sometimes they were leaving it as is. but I already washed all the internals with soap because all of the surfaces were covered with mud and soil, but it looks nice, huh, guys? You know, depending on the light, the shade of this phonograph could change. You don't want that to be too red, you don't want it to be too yellow, you don't want it to be even too orange. And those black strips under the yellow shellac, they give you some kind of a greenish shades. So this phonograph will change the color depending on the light. Okay, my dear followers, I continue restoring Victor 5, and I wanted to show you the progress and talk a little bit more about this machine. So we're restoring here Victor 5, which was very popular, premium external horn phonograph in Victor's product lineup. So it was produced from 1905, and they were producing it up to the early 1920s. Why it's called Victor 5? Because actually they had 3 grades of those phonograph machines. Victor 1 was the simplest, the cheapest one, priced as $22 in 1905, and Victor 5 was priced as $60. You know what $60 was worth in 1905? Around 2000 US dollars for today's money. So it was quite an expensive toy. It's not so intricate design here, right? Everything is straight, everything is pretty simple. Predecessor of this model Victor 5 was Victor D. Before they started using the Roman numbers for their models in 1905, they used to number them as A, B, C, and D. So prior to introducing Victor 5, they had a Victor D before the Victor 5, and Victor D was much more beautiful because it had such a flower ampere design, and they simplified it because they probably started to do the mass production. So in 1905 they were still producing Victor D, while they started making this module in 1905. This is an external horn phonograph. That means it comes with a very big horn made of tin or made of wood. And of course, the bigger the horn, the better it is sounding acoustically. And therefore, this model is very remarkable for its very high quality sound. At the end of the restoration, we will wind it up and we will play some records, and you will enjoy it, I promise. This is the cover that I'm still working on. The cover, I didn't have time to work on the cover yet, but soon I will move on to this piece that will be as totally separately done. It will look exactly like this. Today I probably will start working on corners, on columns. The square corner column, very simple. So this was the finish that when I purchased that case, the finish was like this, and obviously it was refinished already. It was a very lame restoration. So now I'm trying to fix all the flaws. Okay, let me just a little bit clean it up here on this side, and I'll just put it into the case. And okay, I cleaned it up here, I cleaned it up there. Modern glue here, you see, very unprofessional. but we have to fix all that. We have to make it extremely nice. So this is the front right column. It's supposed to fit here, but it doesn't. I have to, okay, that one. So it works here perfectly. The surface is warming up a little bit from the sun, so I have to be very careful, because this is a shellac finish. It can start boiling, it can start making bubbles, so I better just hide it in a shade. So now I will show you a little bit the technique of applying the shellac to the case. So you have to use shellac, and you also have to use the linseed oil. You have to use in between while sanding the layers, so it makes a very smooth finish. You have to be very careful. It's very poisonous, and it's very flammable, very flammable. Okay, I will show you very quickly how I'm applying shellac. Shellac flakes dissolved in pure spirit, 99%. So you do not apply it with brush, you apply it with the cloth. This shellac already has some natural color, it's yellowish, right? But before we apply a shellac, I already tinted this piece of wood, so another color is going through the shellac, the one that was applied directly on the wood. So now let's start applying a new coat of shellac, and you have to do it very quickly, otherwise it will stuck. So your cloth will stuck to the surface, so you have to be very quick. Slowly, layer by layer, you apply shellac on each side. I'm applying shellac one more time, because this surface is already dry. The surface is already dry, so you can apply one more time. And don't worry about if the surface is not so even, so we'll fix that. Shellac could be fixed at any time. looks good.